Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Two Piece Pod. This episode is brought to you by Porterville Wholesale. Trying to get that backyard ready for the summer? Well, why don't you go check out my boy Ray over at Porterville Wholesale. He's got all your goods. He's got the patio sets. He's got, let's say, outdoor lighting, the fans that you can need for those patios. If you want to get ready for that barbecue season, go check him out. He's at 1902 West North Grand in Porterville, California. Or go check him out on my Facebook page, my Facebook profile, you know what I mean? He's there. You can go order online. Check him out. So my boy right here, I'm with you. I'm your host, Patrick Parker. But my boy right here, Richard Van Horne, been an engineer for 3 years. Got some stories to tell. Doing some great things. What is up, my man?
What's up, man?
Hey.
Good to see you. It's been, first, I don't know, 20 plus years we've gone back.
It's been a minute, too. So, what have you been up to? You were talking to me about some things.
Yeah, so honestly, the biggest thing that's been taking up my time is honestly my job. I love my job. I really, really enjoy the work that I do. Currently, I'm a senior maintenance manager for the Amazon facility, BFL1 here in town.
Big old facility.
Yeah, it's about 3.5 million square feet. So
Jeez.
4 floors, and you got the roof too. I count that. Got to take care of the roof.
That roof, though. Okay,
yeah.
So I remember, like I was telling you earlier, that roof. I don't know. Do they still have it like a white color? Is it like a?
It's a little faded from the sun, but yeah, it's more or less.
Oh my
yeah.
god, it's so blinding. Like you can even wear glasses and feel okay.
Yeah, it's all solar now, so like
Yeah?
now you won't really see much of the white. It's just,
Okay.
just solar as far as you can see.
Well, that's probably why they because then you'd try and bring black to the background, wouldn't you?
I don't know. I don't know how I'm not much of a solar. I just have to take care of it. I don't have to
You're
understand
like,
too
make
much.
sure it's
Make sure it's
running.
running.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So you're telling me you take care of all the electronics going on in
So,
BF1.
Technically, yeah. If you want to, I hit people with the long job title. It's senior maintenance manager of reliability, maintenance, and engineering. And technically, it should be called like RMEF because facilities in there. So my departments, I have four different departments. You got your maintenance team, which is it's the biggest team that goes around, and they're the ones that are physically fixing things. Usually more mechanical based. So we have about 20-30 miles of conveyor belting. That's mostly what that building is just miles and miles of conveyor belts all looped and wrapped in on themselves, taking, you can get 800,000 orders out the door sometimes, so all of that looping around, and they'll go through and take care of a lot of the mechanical aspects, and then they'll take care of as well the Amazon Robotics. So that building stands for AR Sortable. So Amazon Robotics Sortable is what the building calls. So we basically take care of things that are about this or smaller. Basically it has to fit in one of our, and it's hard to explain without actually seeing it. So we just started opening up for tours again because COVID being gone. But we have basically a floor of all the conveyance downstairs, and the upper floor is our inventory. And the cool thing about our warehouse is that it moves around. So all of it's like, picture a giant Roomba, probably about...
I was about to say a big old robot.
Yeah, big old robot that roves around, and we have a separate team.
Up and then come down.
So we got two teams, one that takes care of the conveyance side and one that takes care of all of that robotics, and that side, there's 3 floors of it. And then, so that's the maintenance, and then you have reliability. That's a team focused on inventory. They're focused on planning, predictive maintenance, and then you have engineering. So you have a guy taking care of the robotics, automation, all that real fun, complicated stuff. And then facilities is always, one that needs to be included, and they take care of take all the people and stuff out, like HVAC, fire system, all this critical stuff you would need.
So
I have to know a lot about a lot of different things. And
about everything.
Yeah, but I don't have to be the expert. That's what I've learned. I used to think I had to be the expert in everything, but I just have to make sure that the people I'm working with have what they need to succeed. And
gotta be good.
They just have to feel comfortable in their job, and then we all succeed.
Right. Well, see, you're kind of like a fill-in too at anything, if anything goes bad.
I mean, yeah, if something goes bad, a building like that, there's about 82 of those types of buildings in the country, and they're the ones pushing out, like, in any given day, those buildings are putting out 25, 30 million orders, and they're doing the bulk of what people buy from Amazon, because most people don't buy, like, TVs and stuff like that. They're buying case of water, this mug, or iPhone covers. So most of the orders you think about are, $20 or less, and that's kind of where Amazon makes a lot of its, there's good money there.
So do you guys I know you guys just got set up with all the the trucks and everything. They're still using the conveyor belts all the way out to the trucks.
So yeah, there's some. It depends on what we call process paths. So like depending on what type of order it is, we'll go to certain portions of the building. But yeah, there's conveyors that'll extend into those trucks.
Yeah.
I'd have to remember how many exactly bay doors, how many trucks at one time.
So
But
many.
yeah, exactly. But we have some conveyors that'll go into the trucks, and people will either unload or they'll load onto it. But a lot of the automation at the end of the day is all that stuff's going on. It's still, all the work's done on trucks. So you see those probably a lot coming down the grapevine of big old smile on the side. And,
Big old smile on running people over nowadays.
yeah, so that's where most of the Amazon does a lot of its work. But I love it, and it's been been a great journey. And it's only been, I just had 2 years in April.
So
April 20th.
You say 2 years. So tell me where you built, because you were telling me like, look, man, I survived making it through this opening.
Yeah.
So explain to me how this opening went down. And what was surviving through.
So I'll tell you, I used to work at Grimway Farms before this. So another local, I'm sure everyone's heard of Grimway. They've been here.
Course.
So I was
only like a couple years.
Yeah, exactly. I think they do like carrots or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
carrots
I did. I was a controls engineer for them, and then Amazon was coming to town, and I'm like, okay, that sounds good. And then I ended up taking like a lower position of my title, right? I went from controls engineer, and I was like, okay. Then I became over to like an entry level kind of controls position, and then eventually, this would have been April 2 years ago. I stepped up to the more important role. I was like, hey, I want to be the controls manager, and for the first couple months before the building launched, everyone was in Vegas. They sent us to another building like that type, and the whole time we're like waiting to get into our building, right? Because we don't know what it's like. That building launched, April to September, 4 months later, and it just launched. You're talking $500 million worth of just building equipment, assets, like $1 million sorters, millions and millions of dollars. That's not even the inventory there, right? And BFL1 as a whole, and I mean, it's not really, it had issues just like with any launch did. And I can say there's a couple people still left over for 2 years. One thing people say about Amazon is that a day is like a week and a week is like a month, Mm-hmm. So yeah, when we launched, there was just a lot of issues, startup with equipment, maybe people learning. And so that stress of getting calls in the middle of the night, sometimes the longest issue I was ever a part of was 32 hours, where it was just we had to solve the issue, and
you're like, I'm here,
and yeah, exactly. So that was about a year of what I thought would be, it was the most challenging, and looking back now, the most rewarding thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
But there were very many times I wanted to quit.
Like,
I was like, there's no way I have the strength to do this. I don't think I'm cut out for it. So like I launched that building as the controls engineer, and then I ended up switching to a reliability engineer, which is a position I'd never even heard of. Like I came here and they were like, hey, you want to switch to this position? And I was like, I don't know much about that. My background, like at Grimway, I worked at JG Boswell. For people who don't know, that's another ag company in town. They do tomatoes and tomato paste and cotton. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's where I kind of probably heard about them.
Yeah, tomato paste. People forget that's super important, but that's a whole other thing going on there. But I ended up switching roles into that position and just kind of threw my head into it, not knowing much about. Like I had locked myself into the title of controls engineer for years. In fact, my degree says industrial automation, right? It doesn't say anything about reliability, and so it was a real trial by fire there, and probably one of the best decisions I ever made in my life was to throw myself into something that I was like, okay, like all right. I'll see how it goes. And I did that for about 6-7 months, and then the main job opened up for being head of RME and everything. And I remember that decision was really hard because I'm asking myself, am I ready for that?
Yeah.
Each step of your life, you're always like scared. Yeah, exactly. Am I ready for this next step? No matter what you do, you're always asking yourself like. And I guess I realized, like, that's the thing you should be asking yourself. Like, if you're not a little bit scared, you're probably not pushing yourself.
Something's wrong,
right? Yeah. You're not growing. So I was scared at first, but I ended up taking the position I have now because I wanted to do what's best for Bakersfield. I want to do what's best for BFL 1. And I wanted to, show people on a national scale that Bakersfield is on the map and legit.
Yeah.
And honestly, since then, we ranked, you have a lot of things we measure, but one of the things they measure, some of them rankings puts us in the top 5 out of those 80 sites.
Dang.
We went from bottom of like about 70 up to top 5.
Dang.
And that's just because the team, like the team is amazing and they always had it in them. But it's just crazy. It's the most rewarding thing I've ever been a part of. And I'm humbled by it, to be honest.
Right.
And, every day now you got all this equipment in there, but now I have to focus on how do you talk and lead people. Like now forget about, it's not about like what job you're doing. It's how do you feel about your job.
And that's what I was thinking. Like that's hard.
Dude, there's, I mean, look at all the books.
Yeah. Understandably, like being a leader, you got to understand that yes, it does come just kind of naturally. It's not a, if you're put in the right position, it comes naturally. For instance, sports, something like that, it's very easy to step up and be a leader, yes. But when it comes to working in a job or, working with people that maybe don't have the same mindset as you, it's 100% different.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that we have a lot of diversity there from a lot of different cultures, and that building is running 24/7. Essentially 24/7. And how do you connect with someone you may not see every day? How do you let someone know how you feel when you may get 30 minutes of FaceTime, or they have a different culture, different background, different whatever. And the thing I'm just trying to push for is I'm trying to unite people across values.
Yeah.
Because that's like regardless of like, I can tell you, the value or like, instead of breaking down how to clean your kitchen, be like, oh, do it this way, this way, this way. I can just say, hey, our value is high quality work and high quality performance. Show me what that looks like.
Yeah.
And you let someone demonstrate this is what I believe without micromanaging or going to that level of detail. And then you just have a feedback with them. Okay, like here's an example of this work. Here's an example of this work. What do you think? And you ask them. You just kind of put people always growing. And my number one thing I view myself is that like, I'm not doing my job unless someone can replace me.
Mm-hmm.
So like everything that I do, I try to make sure that someone else can step up and take that role. Because I'm not training or leading people if they're not growing themselves.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty stoked to say that like from the people that I've been a part of, I've been able to promote a lot of people and get people
it just boosted
move up. Yeah, exactly. Like, and I hope to one day that someone comes up and there's somebody is equal and just be like, yeah, they can do it. And I'll be like, boom, there you go.
There you go.
And it frees me up for the next thing.
But that'd be dope. Yeah,
but yeah, dude, it's you could spend your whole life talking about leadership and doing all that, and you'll just barely scratch the surface. But like, it all comes down to just people.
Yeah,
so
it really does.
Books aside,
because don't get me wrong, but you're right. Books aside and all that, people are 100% different. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's so hard to sit here and think like, oh, just because I read this means I'm going to be able to get these 70 people to do, everything that I desire and wish.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're not.
Yeah, and it's not something you can just like put out there. Like, I try to make sure, like, one of my own personal things with how I try to lead the team is I try to get all my information because everything's so digital nowadays, and Amazon especially is too. They keep, there's emails, there's their own private messaging service.
Yeah.
There's just all this digital, and it takes away all of this. And so one of the things I try to make sure, especially when I start my week, to get all my information from verbal face-to-face.
Yeah.
And I put my computer down, I try to take my notebook out, and I'm like, okay, let's talk face-to-face.
Yes.
Because that's something that the more, it's kind of crazy, the more automated and advanced we get, the more we're lacking there, and we're losing kind of a step,
oh my
And
goodness, bro.
especially now, like, post-COVID, like, people are wondering, like, oh, do we go back to that? And, depending on your job focus or whatever industry you're in, but there's a lot you lose when you lose this. And, I don't know about you, but have you ever read a text message? You're like, damn, what do they mean by that? Like,
the hell they saying
am I in
to me?
trouble?
Yeah.
You ever get the message like, hey, we need to talk? Nobody has ever felt good from that. Girlfriend, boyfriend, I don't care who, we need to talk. Ooh. But
nah.
I say it here, I'm like, hey, we need to talk.
Right.
Yeah, right. I say here, I'm like, hey, we need to talk. It's like, oh, cool, we're talking.
Shout it up.
But yeah, I'm trying to grow
to
every
talk.
day on that. But it's crazy though, man. It's just trying to get people to do their best And but I'm super stoked that I'm there and all the opportunities there. So.
Well, see, and that's cool, man, because like you said, like what has it been, like 20 years? Knowing each other from being so young, okay? We were in elementary school.
Who's your kindergarten?
Ooh.
A long time ago. You went there kindergarten, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
But yeah, 20, I mean, shoot, this is early 2000s, late 90s.
This is mid 90s, early to mid 90s. I think I started in 94.
Oh. What?
Yeah.
Started in 94. I was born in 93, so.
No, yeah, you're right. Never mind. Okay, late 90s. We'll say late 90s. My bad. I'm thinking way off for a second. You're like, hold on. Yeah, no, you're right. Okay, so about 97, I'd say, because you got to be 5, right?
Yeah,
97, 98.
I remember Harry Potter came out. I remember the first Harry Potter book came out.
The first Harry Potter. Oh my God, and they were this thick, and I was like, dude, I don't like reading. Like,
I read it. I read.
See, okay.
I was like, that was the first series I was like caught on.
You want to know what the first series that I really got attached to was? Hunger Games.
I remember when Hunger Games. I never jumped into it.
I don't know why I liked it so much. I just think it was the whole everybody fighting.
How'd the movies turn out to your? Everyone always says
everyone says it, and it's so true.
Yeah,
it's so true. I'm sorry, but you can just put so much more detail into a book, and not saying that you can't put it into a movie. But do you understand that if you were to put, like, for instance, if you were to break down an entire book of Harry Potter, this would be a 12-hour movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're looking at a 12. You're going to be like, oh, dang, this ain't ever going to end. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to watch that whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, there's a certain amount of world building.
I guess you could have broke it. Okay, let me ask you this then. Would you have liked it if they broke it down into more movies?
I mean, if we as a culture were just used to like 20, instead of being at like sequels and 3, just being like 30. Yeah, it's 30 of them.
30 movies, but it'd be like a show. But it'd be
you'd be a TV show at that point.
Okay, but they were all 2-hour shows then. 2-hour shows.
Oh man, maybe that's where we're going. You could
almost do that with those books. Those books have so like. But again, okay, and then watching through the Hunger Games and stuff, the detail that was in there, like you're like, well, what about this and what about that?
It's like, I mean, filmmaking's tough, man. I can't even imagine what to include and what not to.
Like, have you ever read? No, because I haven't. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's why I kind of stick to movies. Read articles, stick to movies.
Well, I can't remember the last movie I actually sat down.
But I'll say that. It sounded good, huh? Read articles, stick to movies. You feel me?
Means whatever you want it to mean, yeah. But
for real, I don't know the last time I sat down for a movie either. Or at least, when was the last time you went to a movie theater?
Probably with my daughter or something. I probably... man, it's been a long time.
Mine's at least
Not this year.
Mine's at least been since about... Probably before COVID. So, gotta be and maybe even a year before that. Probably 2018, 2019-ish. God dang, that's been a long time.
Yeah.
Huh? I have not been to a movie. I don't know. Oh, and I know what movie theater it was now, and I'm pretty sure because it was the AMC, the new one right there in California.
The one with the
recliners,
kind of recliner chairs and smaller.
Dude, it was so hot in there though. It was so cool.
It used to be the Dollar Theater. You got to give it some credit, man. They used to be they stepped it up from the Dollar Theater.
You can buy beer in there. You can.
Really?
Yeah, you can get a whole bunch of stuff. They only give you like 2 beers, I think, at a time or something like that.
That's probably smart. That's probably a good idea for.
So you're not getting everybody drunk.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, dude, COVID changed all that, man. It's been
crazy. Mm-hmm. But that's the thing, man. It's like, okay, now. Speaking of, we were talking about those kids that would suck on the water fountains,
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh. Okay, imagine those kids now. Oh, God dang it. Oh, my God.
Be an interesting study to see what...
What? Ooh.
Oh, man.
Now, what's crazy is, like, as a kid, you don't really think about it as much like that. You know what I mean? You're like, whatever. You see it. You're like, that's gross. Ah, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah. You don't really... Yeah, you don't judge hard as a kid.
Yeah.
The social norms aren't set in your brain yet. So you just kind of be like, oh, it's different. All right.
That's not right.
And then, as your age, you just kind of learn, like, when I do this, people look at me like this. So I learn not to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my God. So... man, just think of, okay, I was talking because my stepson, he's 10 years old, so he's in junior high, or not junior high, but he's in elementary school right now, you know, or no, he's 11 years old, my bad. And the games they play are almost like exactly the same as ours, but they have they have their own little twist, and they're brand new names.
Oh yeah, like what?
So they don't call, you know how we used to play ball, like what did we call ball wall? I just called like kickball or ball wall.
I remember like was it heads? No, it was some. I remember getting pegged. I remember getting the ball thrown at me, but
kicked at you. Oh my god!
Yeah, you throw the ball against the wall, and then if you miss or something, you have to go in and touch the wall
before they got.
And then something happens if you don't. You have to stay against the
wall.
You have to
stand
and
against
then you
the wall, and
then pegged.
You just sit there and get pegged.
It's brutal.
And if they missed, they missed.
They have that now.
I don't know if they peg each other, but like.
It was a brutal. We were pre-phones, so we got away with a lot more.
Well, put it like this, bro. When I used to see your brother, right? He was what? He was 3 years older than me, so he's
3 years older than me.
No, so then 2 years. Yeah, okay, that sounds about right. Because when I was third grade, he was a fifth grader. I remember that now. And I remember because you remember how it was like first, second, third, and then here was the ball wall, fourth, fifth, sixth. Well, one time we went over there, you know, because we thought we was cool third graders. And he's like, all right, Patrick. And, you know, I'm looking up at him like this because at the time I'm tiny. So he's like, I'll give you 10 seconds, start running. And I was like, all right, because I knew your brother was fast. And the only thing I could do was juke back and forth.
You were fast too, though. I remember that.
I was all right, you know, but he always catch me, I swear to God. But, I mean, your brother, I don't know where I knew your brother from before that, though. It was weird. Like, I just remember knowing him. You know what I mean? Like, it was just
always
like, hey, I knew this
there
guy. Yeah, I knew this guy. Yeah, it was weird. But your brother used to chase me around that whole, like, soccer field. And me and him used to just, like, be running all the time.
Yeah.
That's kids, though. At least we could run. Now, if I think about running like that, like, I'm
couldn't do it. Couldn't get me out there.
We used to run. Think about it. We used to run miles as kids. Like, it was nothing, just having fun.
Yeah.
We would race each other in like a mile. Now it's like I don't want to race nobody.
Can't remember the last race.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, junior high. Or not junior high, elementary.
That's why I try to keep in sports and stuff, man. Sports is that's my thing.
Yeah. Okay, so you like sports right now?
What? Yeah, I mean, yeah.
What sports have you dove into right now?
Honestly, the last couple of years has been rugby. So Kern County, people
Kern
don't know this,
rugby?
but Kern County has a rugby team.
Well,
Kern County Tuskers.
Kern County Tuskers.
Yes. So we were founded in 1970.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was like 50 years was in 2020. Yeah. So this season just finished. I don't want to deter anybody, but I was hurt, but it was not from rugby.
Engineering.
But, yeah, exactly.
One of the robots ran over his big toe. I'm just
but yeah, so rugby is just one of the most perfect games. I wish rugby was way bigger in America than elsewhere. Because, it's cool.
Okay, do you know Zach B?
Brown?
Not Brown. He lives out in like Australia now.
Yeah. He went to go play. I don't know him, but I know of him. Like when I started, he was playing a little bit, and then he was. I think either was going to Australia. I don't know if he's still there.
He was in Australia.
Yeah, he was playing like pro league or something like that. Yeah, he was exactly like you can go pro in rugby in other countries, and
and he got moved. Here. I don't want to go to Australia though.
I wouldn't mind. I hope they open Amazon there. If they open it, I think they just opened Amazon, but I'm tempted to like
really
look at it. Yeah, just why not? Why not? What do I care?
Yeah, you'd go over there right now. I don't like. I go over and visit. I'm not into spiders being this big. And
stuff,
yeah.
Like, okay, I forgot about that.
I forgot about animals.
And if I there's a spider in my toilet, we're burning the house down.
Yeah, because I'm not like. Don't get me wrong. Like, okay, mind you, I act super manly around my family. Spider, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, outside, I'm like, yeah, I get it. Don't trip.
No,
that's me.
That's the same way, dude. The same way. You put that hat on, you're just like, and you look around, you hope someone else takes it from you. Like,
you gonna get that? Nah,
that's why you hope you're with, like, what kind of girl you with. You're like, is she gonna be? There's girls, because there's girls out there that'll be like, oh, again, they'll just take care of it yourself. You're like, but sometimes you got to do it.
When they're like, it's a spider. I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
I'm just as scared as you.
Yeah, don't call me.
Yeah, but it's
you can't get that thing.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm all standing up. I sit back down. Like, oh, I've been sitting down. You already standing?
Hey, hey, he's living his life. Like, let's just be honest. I mean,
hey man,
I won't want to stop me.
No lie.
Let him go.
But there is one thing. I know this is gonna sound bad, but I let a couple of daddy long legs live in my garage.
That's cool.
Just two. There's only two that I let live.
Where they supposed to be?
The reason being is because, okay, they take care of bugs.
Boom.
Great. Okay. And supposedly they kill black widows.
Yeah. 2 thumbs up right there.
So I let a couple of them live.
And not that scary looking.
Yeah.
Of all the spiders. Just
and they don't, yeah.
Kind of an interesting name.
Daddy long legs.
Daddy. Like, I never thought there'd be animal things. It's just the concept, the word has changed meaning recently.
Yeah.
I don't really want to call any animal daddy, but...
Yeah. What's up, daddy? Like, whoa.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Some kinky scientist is like, that's daddy right there.
Daddy right there. Daddy long legs. Saw some females, she's like, that's daddy long legs to me.
Yeah.
I like them legs.
That's somebody's kink right there
for sure. For sure. Some long old legs.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. That's horrible.
Hey, I'm cool. Whatever gets...
Hey, whatever tickles the...
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm super libertarian, hands off in that way. As long as you're not like committing no crazy crimes,
right?
Go for
it.
You know,
we're all good. You know, okay. Speaking of being libertarian, that kind of reminds me. Like, okay, I got a good question for you. You might know a little bit more about this. What do you think of Elon Musk right now?
You know, to be honest, like just my background, me as a person, I'm not super what you would call up to date on a lot of stuff. I hear things very secondhand. So
I get you.
I'll hear just like everyone else, Elon Musk. So most things I know about him, you know, inventor, does all that stuff. I think he's one of the richest men on earth and ever, I guess, you know, billions and billions of dollars.
Trillionaire.
Yeah, exactly. I personally, when I look at Elon Musk, I don't have that same, people look at him with like that reverence of he's going to lead us to the future. But I don't know if Elon has all the same values I would see. Like if Elon was president, what would the world? It would look very different, and I'm not sure.
Different. So okay,
yeah,
he's very open, is what you're kind of saying. Like
he's open, but like, what is Elon? Like, if I wish I could ask Elon, what is your master goal for your life when you're about to die? What do you want? And he's like, well, I want everyone to, I want to control the world. Like, of course. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what his end goal is. That's what I'm saying. Like, God. what is his end goal?
Holy cow. Well, okay. So then, what do you? Okay, well, let's get an opinion on what you think his end game is with Twitter.
I think with Twitter, so like, and it all comes down, I guess, politics at the end of the day. You know, we're just political in nature. But like, from what I understand, the situation is he wants to buy Twitter to kind of release Twitter from all of what he sees as the political correctness of it and make it an open platform. And like anything, I could see both sides. There's definitely being like, yeah, you don't want censorship. The bigger debate, like this debate's been had like for hundreds of years. It's like, how much freedom am I allowed to have? Am I allowed to say whatever I want? Or do I have to like, you know, there's a trade-off here. We have to live in a society, but also we have individual freedoms. Right. And that's like the eternal battle that's like constitutional, and nobody has the real answer.
Yeah, because it's like, don't get me wrong, but the more freedoms we have, the more anarchy we usually tend to get, and same thing with the other way, you know what I mean? The more you try to like, you
don't want to over police, right? Yeah. Because then there's no freedom or expression of thought and things like that. And I think with Twitter, and again, I have a Twitter account I don't think I've ever posted.
I only look at like 2 things.
Yeah, exactly. I follow people and exactly football clips and things like that. Yeah. So like for my use of Twitter, I don't have any issue with any of this because I'm using it to look at clips of sports. You're right. But like I'm sure with the political, you know, and again the debacle of the last dude. This has been the last 8 years of. I mean, as my lifetime basically of just crazy divisiveness. So. Mm-hmm. I'm cool with it. Like I said, if he wants to do that and he wants to buy it, I'm one of those people. Let him have it. See how it goes. If it goes badly,
okay. Because I got asked a question not too long ago, and it was, you know, do I think it's going to be better for free speech or not? And honest to God, I told him, I was like, yeah, I do. I honestly think it's
it will be freer. I could say that. Yeah, it will be freer if it's privately owned, and Elon says, yeah, say whatever you want. But how do you combat those people who are like, well, do Nazis get to have their own platform?
That's what I was thinking.
Supremacists do
Does
these
everybody?
And I people always use Nazis, but does any group that wants to say negative things get that platform to be public? Are you spreading hate?
Yeah. Does any? And I mean, okay, you know what you could say, and this is the craziest thing about it. Does any culture disregard, disrespect, or harmful, or things like that to another culture? And in those cultures, do they get to speak out about these harmful and malicious things or whatever?
I think it all depends on how you view human beings
exactly.
and their nature. So I personally think human beings we're inherently selfish, and so we'll always, as much as you want to be idealistic about things, we'll always be inherently looking out for ourselves and those that are like us. So I think there is. Part of what's being a better person means fighting your inherent, the things that inherently hold you back. So naturally we're selfish. So the better part of being that would be not being so selfless, right? Yeah. So all the negative parts of human nature, the more you fight that, the better person you become. So, but I also don't believe we shouldn't hide in a perfect world. If the Nazis or whatever existed and they're spouting out, we as society go, obviously that mentality is not good, and it's not going to spread. We're shining a light on it. So I get the idea of shine a light on it and let people see this is, make your choice, people. This is what you want to. I'm
kind of like an election,
because either yeah, exactly. Because otherwise, if you don't, it's still going to exist. You're not gonna. It's just going to be hidden and in the dark, I mean, the KKK ran around in hoods. They were very secretive, right? So it's not like you're getting rid of the problem. You're just, I don't know. I believe they should just...
You're just basically bringing it to a light in a sense, but at the same time, there's not much you can do about it.
It's tough. I think technology kind of outpaced us. That's the problem, is that we did not plan how far we would get with this. And we are now in a space that every day the computer chip gets smaller, but we don't understand ourselves.
Well, you're not teaching us about it. You know what I mean?
Nobody. They don't. The people who are doing, they're just putting it out there without any knowing it's the impact. When they made the phone, the iPhone or any kind of phone, did they know? No, they wanted to solve a problem of communication. Did they know sociologically it would make our attention spans like that? No, but it made money and it made sense, and we'll deal with those effects later. So
and whatever makes sense makes dollars.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
There you go.
Hey, so I've started trying to say this, and I wanted to say it, but now that you made me think about it, I gotta say it. So I'm just trying to turn my cents into dollars on this podcast. So that's gonna be my new thing. So if you hear it, I've said it here first.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Ding.
That's my thing. Is I'm trying to turn my 2 cents into dollars.
Like cents, S-E-N-S-E, cents,
like your 2 cents. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You like that, huh?
I like that one. There you go.
Trying to turn my 2 cents into dollars.
Yeah. No, for sure, man. And
ooh,
put it out there, man. That's actually why I wanted to. I mean, as much as you told me it was just super random because I haven't heard from you in
years.
I mean, off and on, through Facebook. As much as we're Facebook friends for sure.
Yeah,
That,
you just see
that
it.
very light level. So I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And I'd never done anything like this. So
and again, what's crazy is like I said, I want to do a lot of guest speakings, to just bring out what's going on in Bakersfield. You may see somebody that from high school or somewhere that you're like, oh, I didn't know they were doing that. Or somebody might see you and be like, look at Richard right now. And I'm like, yeah.
I'm very low key, so I'm a little, I'm putting aside some of my low keyness.
So that's how I was too. It was very hard for me, especially after what I was doing for a long time, which was, go ahead, do your thing.
Sweaty.
But after I was,
I forgot I had this on me.
After I was sitting there and doing my thing for so long and kind of just fading off from life, really. coming back and really throwing myself out there was like
Scary.
I don't know if I want to. Yeah, like I don't really.
But then you're doing it, and you're like, oh, it's not that bad.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. But then,
Yeah,
you think about it, like the world's not over. Like I still have my thing. Like if you think
yeah.
about all the changes were inside you, like your outside really didn't change, but it was all inside.
That's the thing is like it's so crazy because like they say like you got to step out of your comfort zone in order to get into the next level of what you're doing. Like you were talking about. You know what I mean? Like, it's that whole, oh, man, I don't know.
I don't know if I can do this. Like, I don't know. And the challenges are bigger than me. Like, that's how I felt in every job position I've ever taken. I was like, the challenges are bigger than me. The resources are constrained. How do I am I set up to fail?
Yes.
You know? And, yeah.
Yes. And that was the thing. Like,
it's a leap of faith for sure.
Technically, you kind of are set up to fail, though. If you think about it, like, I read this because it's another Elon Musk thing. He said, like, you need to find something that you're trying to do in 10 years and try and figure a way to try to do it in 6 months. Okay? And he said, you're almost guaranteed to fail, but the experience that you'll learn, it outmeasures what you didn't learn by not doing it.
Yeah, for sure. You have to fail because we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
We just straight up don't.
And that's kind of like, okay, that's where I'm at right now. Is like, I could fail a whole bunch of times and I'm okay with it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I don't want to fail forever, you know, but, you know.
Well, I always think about, like, some of the people I think about whenever I'm feeling like, I'm not doing anything. I mean, Morgan Freeman started acting when he was, like, 45.
That's true.
So, like, I think about like, there's no, like, and it sucks because nowadays everyone makes you feel bad because it's, like, the new mindset is like, you gotta grind. You wake up and you grind, brother. Like, if you're not putting in that work right now, like working, whether it's working out or for some reason YouTube and Instagram is my sponsored ads are all like, all right, I work from home and like this is my office, the beach, and all I do, I'll show you how to do it. Like, we'll do Forex, we'll do freaking crypto, we'll do all this stuff, and it's always like a lot of. Wait, what do you, like, what are you saying that's different than someone else? But, like, yeah, everyone makes you feel, like, bad where you're at because you're not out there grinding. Yeah, you gotta grind every day, every second. I don't sleep, you know? Never sleep. Never sleep. Never drink water. Like, no liquids. No solid food.
I just fucking run off
nothing. Just nothing, dude. Because it holds you back. It makes you heavier. Like,
grinding is the only thing I need in
life. So, like, I laugh at it now, but yeah, there are times where it's just, you have to be comfortable with where you're at.
It looks like you don't drink water.
I don't. No one does. If that's one thing you take away from this is no one drinks enough water.
Well, you definitely over here drinking. You know what you reminded me of, too?
Caught up.
I used to see your younger brother.
Derek.
All the time. I saw him almost religiously at some point.
Working out, yeah.
Yeah. Because you used to go to the gym there a couple times.
I remember I used to go to the gym. Way, way long ago.
But yeah, I would see him there like religiously all the time.
Yeah, no, he's super
tall.
Yeah, he's the tallest of all of us. He definitely, the gym is his for sure. He's better at it than I am.
Because I remember when he was shorter than this table. Like,
yeah, he hit a growth spurt.
Yeah. Remember he used to just run around all the time?
I know. And then his voice dropped, and it was just business.
So man. What?
Yeah, that was actually pretty good. I heard that. That sounded like him.
He does. Man. Mm-hmm. And it was just crazy because, like I said, remembering everybody, like you, your brothers, and all, and even your mom being my teacher.
Yeah, that's right.
Your mom being my teacher. You know what I mean? Mr. Chapman. Remember Mr. Chapman?
Yep, Mr. Chapman. He works at BC.
I forgot he was doing some classes up there, but that's good, man. Yeah. I missed him. I know
it's a small town. Like that's the thing about Bakersfield. It's probably one of the biggest small towns in California, man.
I think what it is when we were born, it wasn't. But like it wasn't even a big circle on. It wasn't even like on some maps there wasn't Bakersfield.
It's one of the, like, if you look at a lot of the metrics for it's one of the fastest growing. Like, it goes through waves of it, and I think we're probably going to hit another wave of growth.
Because of all the houses being built.
Houses being built, the market's coming in, like, you know, there's just a lot of investment here because the housing market's a little bit cheaper and all that. But yeah, you can tell our freeways can't even keep up to what we planned. They didn't plan out this. Like, Union used to be Highway 99, then they added Highway 99, and now I don't know what they're doing. They're trying to do that whole thing out there. I don't know when that's going to be done, but
in 72 years.
72 years exactly. I won't be here. But yeah, no, this town is definitely. There's going to be a lot of coming out lot of good things coming out of here, I think. So I know people, we're like the place everyone loves to leave, but
You want to know what I think it's going to become? It's going to become low-key like LA, but we're going to touch Tejon soon. The Tejon outlets, I feel like. And we're going to be touching Shafter.
You're already touching Shafter, really.
Yeah,
they're
but
like the houses
are like on the fringe. You know what I mean? It's just basically changing a little bit of the area code. Which, don't get me wrong, but did you notice if you buy a house in Shafter, it's cheaper, but like taxes are a lot more.
Oh, no,
or there's something like that out in Shafter. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah,
but
no, for sure.
I'll say we'll touch Delano soon.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
I mean, McFarland's already touching it, so if you touch McFarland, you're just touching Delano.
Yeah, we'll be a weird mixture of LA and San Francisco people, and throw the high-speed rail in there.
I feel like right after Delano, you get to Tulare. No, I'm just kidding. I say that only because of one of my friends. He'll probably listen, but Tulare, yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that's kind of where you start doing the whole, Fresno's reaching, you know?
Yeah.
Imagine if all cities just connected.
I mean, give it a couple hundred years, but yeah. I mean, where it
could possibly. What if that was you just one big city that goes all the way through California?
I mean, yeah, population control.
What would you call it?
Just put them all together. Baker, Fresno, Francisco, San Fresno Field.
San Fresno Field?
San Fresno Field. Gillis. I don't know.
San Fresno Field Gillis. I like it.
But yeah, man, it's changed a lot. Like, I know a lot of stuff that I grew up with. It used to be a field, and now there's houses there. Like, fields, we used to have a lot more farm
and you're just like, what in the world?
Yeah, no, it's I don't know. We just keep growing. People, for some reason, people are always moving out, but we keep growing.
Well, okay, and it's like, don't get me wrong, a lot of people move out, but I've seen a lot of people move back in. Too.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I'm pretty sure we all know somebody that's been like, I'm going out, and then like some time, maybe 6 months, maybe a couple years, and then you start to see people migrate back.
And that's why, like I say, like, don't get me wrong, but I hate my home, but I love it all more than I hate it. You know what I mean?
You know?
And I can't say, like, I really even just hate it. It's just the simple fact that it's, like, I've been here for so long, and I know so much of the ins and out that
nothing makes you feel... I get exactly what you're feeling, because, like, I'd rather be... It's funny, because in my mind, I put myself in, like, let's say a town I've never been to, and everyone else can tell me that restaurant sucks, but I've never been there before. I don't know better. Yeah. But, like, yeah, you lose that sense of exploration.
Yeah, and then it's like...
I hope they keep pushing the culture here. I hope they keep doing, like, building up downtown. I hope they build another type of that area on the west side. I hope there's more. Hopefully, you know, the leaders of Bakersfield can kind of start pushing the identity, maybe steer into some of the things that make us, you know? Because it's funny, if you take a music course in the South, or let's say my brother took a music course in Tennessee, and Bakersfield's in music courses for the Bakersfield sound and things like that. So there's
people don't know about that kind of stuff. So
yeah, exactly. But I hope that they just keep kind of pushing for just modernization, but not too much, but just pushing for, I don't know, just always progressing. You know, I want to
keep moving forward.
Yeah, keep moving forward, but I don't want them to forget. Like, I'd hate to see the east side to just dwindle down and everyone's moving to the west side. You know, I'd love to see all the areas.
You want to see everybody prosper is the thing, and that's keep it real. Okay, that was my theory on it. When a lot of things are still going bad, but when a lot of things were even going worse, like, my whole thing was like, I wanted everybody to win. You know what I mean? And even to this day, I'm still the same way. But because if everybody is winning and nobody's really losing, then why are they going to try and come and get the things that you're winning if they're already winning?
That is the civilization class hierarchy. But you're touching on all that stuff of rich, poor, communism, socialism. How do you run a society?
Well, yeah, but because if everybody's winning, then you don't have power. Is the thing.
I mean,
and that's a big thing because you can't split people up.
Yeah. Now we're getting into the real philosophical, philosophizing. But
I almost had you confused for a second there.
You did. I was just trying to keep up. This is what this has all been. Me keeping up.
The philosophical side of a lot of things, it gets interesting. I'm not going to say I know it. I'm not going to say I'm good at it.
No, but the best part about philosophy is everyone is 100% professional in their own philosophy. Yeah. And all it is talking. That's as much as people like. There's no wrong answer in philosophy. Like Socrates and all those guys got in trouble because they asked questions. Yeah. Like, that's all it was, and people went, "What the shut up, like
Idiot.
Yeah, sun goes around, the Earth goes around. Shut up, like,
Yeah, you dumb.
you know. But
We'd be moving the whole time.
yeah, exactly. No, but I wish more people had the freedom to talk, and that's why I came here to talk. I was just like,
Well, okay.
there's not a lot of freedom for people to express ideas of that are longer than 140 characters or longer than a post.
I kind
know?
of think that's why you got the job you got, though, because for my way of looking at it, an engineer is somebody who is the concept of a scientist. Mm-hmm. You go in trying to, have these basically hypothesis of this might happen if we do it this way, but we got to test it a couple times in order to figure out what we're really doing here, which is...
Yeah, I would say, yeah. I'll take scientists as the top level, and everyone's a subset in their own way. I would say an engineer is a subset of the scientists, and my engineering. So like of the big engineering, right? You got chemical engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, and civil engineering, and you can throw in all the other types of there. Those are the ones I grew up. I fall more into the electrical engineering side of things. And then subset of that being controls and automation, PLCs, getting people. It's kind of I've always been torn philosophically on that too, because my whole job is to get rid of people.
Yeah.
Not like literally, but technically is work with equipment that makes people less or redundant, you know? And that's that. How do you balance that, right? You're like, oh, I want to make I've been a part of projects that.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. I've been a part of projects that were like they measured the cost of the project by how many man hours of labor it got rid of, And you're like, as you get closer to that level of automation, people stop becoming more and more. You don't need that type of labor. The one thing that when this gets replaced. I'll tell you what, this is the one thing that science has never been able to figure out is this and what goes on up here. That's what the next revolution is. This I always tell people, like, the most amazing engineering marvel is the human hand, because you have no idea how much money is spent both at Amazon and everywhere to this, what I just did. You know how hard it is to get a machine to do that, to be able to take these three. So for example, if I have these 4 items here, and I have to tell a machine, I want you to be able to pick that up, orient it, put it right there in the same collation every time. A child can do that. Boom, boom, boom. How do you adapt for all the variability of life? That's something that we're still, as much as we automate, this still is way more advanced than...
It's just faster and more advanced.
Yeah, like this is more understood than this. I'll tell you that much. Like, and Amazon as a whole has spent a lot of money trying to replicate this.
If you guys are just listening to this, he's talking about what he understands more, or what people understand more is your phone rather than your hand.
Yes, the concepts of trying to, if you were to try and replicate, this is mass produced in millions. If you try to replicate my hand and put me up against a robot on the simple act of placing stuff, because if you go to that facility, or a lot of Amazon facilities, a lot of it is sortation and things like that, this wins every time.
Yeah.
Like, just every time. And it'll be a while, and I tell people is that the day is coming, though. They're getting closer, but this is still one of the beautiful marvels of engineering that,
So let's dive into a big subject here. I got one.
Oh, is that now? It's time for big subject.
Yeah. Now
what have we been doing? Okay,
right. AI.
Ooh, yeah, that's good. I love it.
What's your thoughts on this? Is it going to be good for us? Is it going to be bad for us? Are we going to do iRobot?
It really depends on what I don't think AI's. It's not like, as much as they talk about the singularity just happening. Like, AI is not just going to be. They say in sci-fi writing, there's going to be a day where you flip on a computer and it becomes sentient and things like that. I don't think it'll roll out that way. I think it'll be more of a progression, because they're saying, there's something called Moore's Law, which says that the, speed of the transistor, or the size of a transistor, has been reducing down, like, on a kind of an exponential basis. And so they're saying by 2050, they've literally said, I think 2050, 2040 in there, that's when the singularity occurs, when artificial intelligence surpasses human intelligence, and what happens there. I think a lot of people, and I think Elon Musk is even afraid of, has brought this up.
He does
I
not
think,
like AI.
Correct, yeah. I think there's enough people in place right now that are bringing the warning signs of it. I think that, yes, technology as a whole is inert and doesn't have any values. It's all dependent on the people. What scares me from a philosophical point of view is if you were to recreate an intelligent system, they're not going to have the same values that we do. We inherently will share certain values about the sanctity of life, or maybe not always, but
will have value.
What will happen to an AI as it develops values, and that's the part that you can't measure in a software program is, values, morality, and things like that. That's the part that's worrisome. And
basically, like, you built it too well.
What scares me more is that we're just pushing forward without any feedback check on, is this going to be good for humanity?
Yeah.
So we automatically think because it's faster, that's better. If it's smaller, that's better. If it does more, that's better. But we don't actually think, wait a minute, we as humanity, there needs to be a counterpart to science to check that. And right now, if you just let science as a whole, because science is inert on its own, it's not good or bad, but if you just let it go, there needs to be a counterbalance to the values we as human race have to kind of balance that process out. Because if you just let the train go and all of a sudden this phone takes care of my kids, and at that point, the problem is this feeds into the worst parts of humanity, which is laziness, usually greed, and quick instant gratification. What is it? WALL-E? Was that the one where everyone was all like fat and
and
just in a
watching
chair?
Shit.
Yeah, so that's some people's take, and I kind of
WALL-E?
I think it was WALL-E. I think it was. You could fact check it later.
I think it was WALL-E.
But I think about that because it gave into there was a screen in front of their face, everyone got fat, but it worked out. But I do think that there needs to be, for whatever we're pushing for artificial intelligence, the artificial side needs to be balanced by a biological intelligence that understands and counteracts it.
Yeah.
So it is worrisome. I will say that. For me personally, I am a little nervous, especially when you talk and I think the next step is going to be the synthetic android type. People are getting implants, or when you get rid of arms. I've seen that. There's been a lot of growth in that area. People putting subdermal chips in that'll control certain things. You can I could put in
chip.
Yeah, I could put in.
Okay, that's one thing I don't know about and don't like really too much. I'm not 100% sure, but
there are people that are very tech enthusiasts that they'll put an RFID, and the technology is not complicated. It's the concept that's scary. They'll put an RFID chip in there, which is just a radio frequency transmitter that you could use to open your door. And it's just a chip. But the mindset that people are slowly turning to, what is cyberpunk-esque, that is. We're not asking ourselves enough questions before we do it, I think. We're just trending that out and just kind of writing it out.
I think it's cool. Trying to be
it's cool, yeah, exactly. And then the other thing is, what do you do about security and privacy and things like that? You get into those questions, Alexa's, or
you better watch out. She'll talk to you over there too.
I have an Alexa. I'll say that.
Yeah,
I do use it. But yeah, exactly. But the question of security and how much are you willing to, give up for convenience?
So, okay, that was my thing is because you were talking even earlier about not trusting the internet and stuff like that, and I don't.
So
I really don't.
Yeah, I was saying that I saw a meme, and you'll have to find it or I'll send it to you. But it was literally tech enthusiasts be like, oh, my whole home is smart. People who work in tech, it's I have mechanical doors, I have mechanical everything. If my printer makes a noise, I will shoot it because I know a little bit too much about what can go wrong in terms of I know that any automation that I work with was at the end of the day designed by a human and has flaws in it. So a lot of my things that work automation wise, 90% of it is self-caused. There'll be an issue that people always think oh, there's a problem with the code or something like that. It's no, the computer doesn't change, we do. But yeah, I don't trust the infallibility of technology that much, and I'm not willing to relinquish that much control for, and that's just me personally. Maybe I'm sure my kids will be a whole different story. They'll probably be I
want to be on here.
Well, yeah, we were the last generation that didn't have. We literally were the generation that bridged from, the rotary dial phone to everything that's here,
Yeah,
and we are still lost in.
You're not lying.
Yeah, we were the last one. Their kids are going to grow up with this and they won't know anything else. But I feel like we're the lost generation. We have a little bit of the values of we understand people who grew up in the 50s. Yeah, I remember playing outside. I remember chalkboards. But then we also understand the kids in the sense, but we don't embrace the technology that much. So I feel like if you interview a lot of people our age, we like technology, but we're also we have a weird relationship with it.
We have this love-hate, mistrust, but trust.
Yeah, that's why we can't use social media without ruining our self-esteem too. It's.
Well, okay, and I always say this because this is huge for me, and again, I caught this on a TV show, and it is where it really hit my head the hardest. But people only post their A days or their A times.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
True.
Like, nobody's posting their bad days. Nobody's posting their B days. Nobody's posting their, oh man, today I had, depression because somebody was doing this, and it really hit me wrong. Or I had anxiety today because someone almost ran me over as I was riding my bike. Or,
Yeah, mental health is like...
we're not taking a picture at that point like, I'm going to get ran over.
No, for sure. It's all, and there's all kinds of studies that show that, like, it's all a facade.
Yeah, look at the poses, look at the...
And there's them Instagrammers, to their credit, that'll bring that up, and they'll be like, hey, it's not all glamour and all that. But as a whole, we still have a lot of... And you can't help but believe it. Even if you know it's fake, you'll see somebody else getting married, you'll see somebody else... doing something, you're like, oh, that's not me, or oh, I'm not at the beach, or I'm not here, I'm at work.
I can't say like I haven't been taking pictures and stuff like that, because don't get me wrong, like I want people to see what's going on here, and like for instance, we'll take a couple pictures before you leave. Watch.
Oh man, I don't do pictures that well, but yeah, I'll do one.
At least one.
At least one. You got me fresh off work too, so
yeah, that's okay though. That's where we like it.
Yeah.
Hey, the women like working men. You know what I mean?
Well, that's all I do.
Right? You're like, but don't got time for you, but that's it.
Yeah, dating, man. That's a whole other thing.
Right? Well, okay, so that's what I was gonna say. Do you have a life? Because you were telling me like your life got so involved, like kind of like how my life is right now. I work, come home, and then 9 times out of 10 I'm doing this. You know what I mean?
This part's it. The work come home part's the same, but yeah, 9 times out of 10, like I have a daughter. I have her. Not 100% of the time, 50% of the time, half and half. Cool, so yeah, and I love that. I love that. So the other 50% of the time when I'm by myself, yeah, that's hard, because like the thing about work, and this probably goes for anyone's work, is you have like a set goal parameters. I know when I'm here, I have to do this. This is the goal. But when I leave work, well, how do you have that same sense of purpose and fulfillment? It's kind of scary how up to you life is.
Yeah.
Which I've always found kind of intimidating, where it's literally people, you can be anything. And it's like, that's kind of terrifying if you think about it, because how do you know what to be?
Exactly.
Or what to do. Like,
what to do.
Like, I have a hard time, and I'm trying, it's funny, one of my big things is I'm trying to watch Netflix more. Because I have a hard time sitting down and letting myself just do something without judging myself for doing it. So, like, everything in this productive world, you got to be, like I said, you got to be grinding, you got to be hustling. Like, if you're not doing it, so I try to make sure. Yeah, exactly. If you're not doing, like, and then I realize, like, there's no roadmap, and I think it's just, I wish I had this, I don't have to answer all those purpose questions, Sometimes you can just sit on the couch after work and enjoy something, but that's hard. I feel like that's hard to do nowadays.
You just need to find, I think, the right thing to enjoy.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing for...
And you have to be okay with not having something to do, because when Instagram is filled with people going out and you aren't going out, you have to be like, that's not better or worse. That's just a different part of the circle.
Yeah, that's their circle. This is my circle.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So it's...
And then sometimes, those like double circles where they collide.
Yeah,
like,
Venn
sometimes
diagram.
y'all collide.
Yeah, sometimes you do that, but there's not like you're all like a big piece of a pie chart and everyone has a sliver of it. And sometimes I'm a part of that group sometimes, but you're never going to be on all the time.
Right.
Nobody's, as much as people like to tell you, that nobody's partying 24/7.
Yeah.
Like, straight up, nobody's at the
Why
club
not,
24/7.
bro? You ain't partied 24/7.
There's someone at Bricks right now. It's like 11. It's like
they're just like waiting
at 11 a.m. They're just like, yo, dude, let's go. We got the bottle table and just no one there. But
it's
maybe that one guy. Yeah.
Tomorrow's Tuesday. My bad. Oh,
I don't even keep track of the days anymore. I just
keep
I have one.
That's why I said like I didn't know what day it was either.
I don't know. I never know what day it is. So, my weekend and weekdays all blur together.
But. Well, okay. Put it like this: you got anything to end it on? Something good? Say something that's you, I guess.
That's me. I just hope that people are taking care of their mental health and not judging themselves too harshly.
That's a good one.
So that's, if I had something to say to people, it's
very awakening.
Don't judge yourself, because you're doing fine. You're doing fine.
Amen to that. I'll give you one of these of that. So yeah. So just FYI, this show or this episode was brought to you by Porterville Wholesale. My boy Ray, go check him out. 1902 West North Grand, Porterville, California. Go to my Facebook group, my Facebook profile, whatever it is. He's on there. You can order online. It doesn't matter where you are. Just order it. He's got everything outside, inside, whatever it is. Hand tools, hand saws, hand drills, impact drills, nail guns, compressors, paint sprayers. Craftsman, DeWalt, Bosch.
I might hit him up.
Yeah, there you go.
Amazon.
I mean, hit him up. I mean, I'm about to hit him up because I got some things I need to do around the house. So you guys should hit him up for any home improving as well. You can also find me at YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, all the good stuff. Search me up, 2Ps Pod. Website should be up. Go search it up, 2pspod.com. You can find a whole bunch of good stuff on there. We should hopefully one day here be doing live content soon. So hit me up. Again, this is my boy Richard Van Horne. Thank you so much for coming out and checking us out tonight. You guys have a wonderful night.